Hi, in this video I would like to show you how to configure multi-area OSPF for IP version 6, which means that we will use OSPF version 3. So, in this setup or in this topology, I like to have 3 different areas with 3 different routers. So router 1 here is a ABR, an area border router, which has one interface in area 1 and the other one in the backbone area, which is area 0. Then we have router 2, which is an internal border, or not, an internal backbone router, because all of its interfaces is within area 0. And then we have router 3, which is also an area border router where I have one interface in area 2 and another one in area 0. The only thing is when we are using multi-area OSPF is that all of them have to be connected to area 0. All the areas. I cannot connect area 1 and area 2 to each other because area 0 is the backbone area. Okay, so let's have a look at how it's done. Now I basically set up almost the same setup in Packet Tracer, where I have configured all these different IP version 6 addresses on the different interfaces. You can notice that I've called the second area over here for area 51 instead of area 2. This is just to show you that the number is basically irrelevant. The only thing that has significance is area 0, which is the backbone area. So now I would like to configure the OSPF. I can do a show IPv6 route just to show you that I am now able to see my directly connected networks. And I would not like to say anything about to pronounce these IP addresses, but we can see I'm connected to 2, and that's correct. So now I would like to configure OSPF, multi-area OSPF. So I go into config mode and go into router. Sorry, I have to have IP version 6, router OSPF1. And then it says IP version 6 routing is not enabled, and that's true. I always have to enable IP version 6 unicast routing, otherwise it will not work. So IP version 6 unicast routing will enable that for me, and then I can go in and do IP version 6 router OSPF1. And here, the only thing I do in the general OSPF configuration is to set the router ID. So I do that with the router ID command. And I set router ID on router 1 to 1111, and on router 2 to 2222, and 3 to 3333. And OSPF need this one. They need the router ID to set, for instance, the designated router and the backup designated router. So normally now on IP version 4 we will use the network command and then set up which networks that I would like to use OSPF on. But here on IP version 6 I will do that on the interfaces instead. So I go back and I say interface fast Ethernet 0, 0, which is the interface down here, and then I enable IP version 6 OSPF 1, which is my process ID. I'm using the same process ID over in all the commands, and this one here is now in area 1. Because this interface down here is in area 1. So now I've enabled OSPF to send updates and to send information about this network to the rest of the routers. And then I do the same thing on serial. So I go to interface S0, 0, 0, which is the interface up here. And then I'm using almost the same command, but area 0, because this is now in my backbone area. So instead of using the network commands, I just indicate on the interfaces which area they should belong to. And that's basically it on this one. And then I do the same thing up here on router 2. I go to config mode, I say IP version 6 unicast routing. I go to IPv6 router OSPF1. I go to interface fast Ethernet 0, 0, which is the interface up here, and then I say IPv6 v6 OSPF OSPF1 area 0. And then I do the same with interface S0, 0, 0. Well, if I can put in a 0 instead. I do the same, exactly same command, because they all belong to the same area. And oh, sorry, this is done here. And on serial 001, I'll do the same thing. So now I configured it in router 2, and then I only need to do it on router 3 as well. So like config mode, IP version 6, unicast routing, then IPv6 router OSPF1, and then router ID here is 3.3.3.3, and then I go to the interface FA0, 0, which is the one down here, which would belong to area 51. So I go and say IPv6 OSPF1, and then area 51. And then I do it on S001, which is the interface up here. And this should belong to area 0. So now I'm having configured OSPF everywhere, and I can go back to my router 1 and do an exit, and do show IPv6 route. And I can see that I'm now getting information from my neighbors. I haven't got any inter. I think also that there was something wrong with my interface down here. No, now I'm getting information. Yeah. Let's just put it over here. So I can see here, this here is an inter area route, the one with an OI in front of it. So this is a route that belongs to another area that my router itself is not connected to. So in this case here, it's the one that's in area 51. And I can see if I do the same thing up here, exit, and then I do a show IPv6 routes. I will have 2 of those because there are 2 networks that are in another area than area 0. Yep. And that's basically it. So now I've configured it in IP version 6 as well. We have all these different show commands that I can use. For instance, show IPv6, in this case, OSPF neighbors. Then I can see that I perform adjacency with my neighbors, and I can see the router IDs, and I have a full adjacency with them and on which interface I'm connected to my neighbors. I can do show IP version 6 OSPF, where I get numbers about the LSAs and the hold down timers and all the more specific things about OSPF, how it's been configured. I can do show IP OSPF IP version 6. If it's for version 4, I just do show IP and then not IP version 6. Show IP OSPF OS interfaces, so I can see which networks that will send out OSPF information, and when they will have received them, and the next update, and hello time and adjacencies and stuff like that. Show IPv6 protocols will show me that I'm using IP version 6. Show IP protocols will always show you what kind of routing protocol that you're using and how it's configured. We use the show IP OSPF, show IPv6 OSPF database. Then it will see more into the different LSAs and how they are sent and received, and which sequence number they have, and so on. So that's an opportunity to troubleshoot into the OSPF protocol itself. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you.